don't think you should leave the British Empire, George. I don't think you should leave the British Empire, George. I don't think you should leave the British Empire, George. I don't think you should leave the British Empire, George. I don't think you should leave the British Empire,
Would
George.
be preferable to remain under the British Empire
I
than
don't
to
think
adopt
you
the
should
current
leave the
American
British Empire,
democracy.
George. I don't
Now,
think
just
you
to
should
give you a
leave
little
the British
preamble, I'm not
Empire,
saying I want a
George.
monarchy. I'm saying in many instances it would be
I don't
preferable
think you
to have
should leave
stayed
the
and
British
maybe
Empire, George.
to have more. Well, it would be preferable
I
to
don't
keep
think
the
you should leave the
aristocratic
British Empire, George.
republic that was established by aristocrats.
I don't think you should
So we'll
leave
get
the
to that
British Empire, George.
As we get into the essays. Okay,
I
so
don't think you should
as
leave
always,
the British
we're
Empire,
going
George.
to play a little Day of Defeat
I
first,
don't
as
think
always.
you should leave the
Same
British
game.
Empire, George.
Let's go.
I
Let's
don't-
fade to the game. There we go. And, let's do it. Okay. Waiting. All right, los. Do it. Nice. I love these window camping spots. These kind of winter. Spawn. Let's go. No avalanche here. Lock. Have to be a little louder, of course. Okay, so I'm gonna play a little bit first. Get myself warmed up as always. Do the same thing. You know how I go. Okay. Wow. Oh, mosh. This is the map that has the sewer. Sewer. Okay, I got the flag black. See, I need to warm up first. My mouth isn't warmed up yet. No, close. Yes, sir. American Battle for Independence. We get wow. Let's see, how many have we won? Oh, nothing yet. Well, what is the coincidence? I mean, every time I start this game, I always start the match with no one's won around yet. Once I like to start a match here with, we've already won a couple of rounds. somebody cleared the path. Cleared the path. Path cleared. Hey, there's a feller down there. Let's go. Okay, no, I'm not going there. That meat grinder. Oh, right. I'm a little tired. It's getting a little colder. Hey, Halloween's next week. We can do maybe a special Halloween stream. Play some Halloween games. Everybody does that anyway. Ah, close. He knew exactly where I was. See you guys. Yep. Take it easy. Okay. Here we are in the sewer. Same thing. Hey, we didn't go anywhere. Big deal. Let's go. Ah. Damn. That was a Panzerfaust. Hot diggity damn. Oh. Okay. Oh, wow. Alright. Couple more minutes here. We'll get into the topic today. I want to get into it right now. Still not warmed up. Ready or not. Nice bullet sponge there, feller. Oh, sniper away. That guy again. Joey with the Euro sign. death flinch. I thought the server was going to close because they said if we don't get money by a certain date, they'll close the server. Has it been? Has it been the date? When was it? October 31st? Hey, wait, ask me that. Oh, he was down there. I didn't even see him. Okay, one more minute, I'll start. I've given like 15 minutes here for people to show up, and I'm just gonna get into it. A minute here. I'll let the computer AI play for me. Let's go. Okay. Huh? What was that? Just doing dishes? What's that sound? Oh, why was that my teammate going the other way? Okay, we will go down the opposite. Whoa! What the? Okay, this is under the bridge. Nice. I like this little sewage place. All right, let's get to the topic now. We waited 15 minutes. No one has mentioned you. No, no one mentioned me at all. Okay, I'm gonna let the computer play here in a minute. Oh yeah, there I am. I'm just checking my phone right now to see if, live. I thought I clicked it, but it didn't open. All right. Let the computer play. There we go. There. Okay, the computer is playing. Cool. Okay, there it goes. So I will put that over there on the stand. Monitor it. Okay, so today's topic one. The first topic is I argue it would be preferable if we just remained under the British Empire than adopt the current American democracy. Now, I'm not in favor of the current American democracy. Yeah. Because the original, the founding fathers, they're violently in opposition to an idea of democracy, a country run under democracy, because of threat of the majority tyranny. Because the original intent was adopting. It was founded by aristocrats. They wanted to establish an aristocratic republic, and the people who founded it were Whigs, which were equivalent to English Tories. And so they were like conservatives, you might say, but they wanted to conserve the ideas of liberty and freedom. But they knew democracy was in opposition to that. So let's get into it here. So it would be preferable to remain under the British Empire than adopt the current American democracy. So, let's see. The American battle for independence, often celebrated as a triumph of liberty and self-determination, marked a pivotal divergence in history where the 13 colonies broke away from British rule to form what would become the United States. However, my contrarian perspective here posits that remaining with the British Empire might have yielded superior outcomes for the inhabitants of North America, the settlers, compared to the trajectory of modern American democracy. Yeah. Let's go. So I'm going to argue that, in hindsight, of course, a continued affiliation with the British Empire could have led to an earlier social reforms. Get into that later. More stable political system, reduced internal conflicts, abolished the two-party system, and better alignment with the progressive policies seen in the Commonwealth nations today. Progressive policies. Okay, so we're gonna, by examining this historical and government, social, and economic dimensions, we can explore how the cost of independence, ranging from prolonged slavery, that was definitely a cost to lives. What? 600,000 lives? To contemporary political dysfunction may have outweighed its benefits. Like I said, I prefer, there are a lot of things in a monarchy or a hereditary monarchy that I prefer, but I'm not advocating for a monarchy. Just to make that clear, I'm going to do the Hans Hermann Hoppe thing. There are certain benefits that we could actually enjoy today if we actually adopted the democratic republic like it was supposed to be, instead of what it turned into. The democracy, the god that failed. Okay. So I'm not proposing any kind of utopian society either, some idealistic fanatic like the progressive radical leftist. I hate to use the word leftist, but the people that are adopted I don't want to say adopted Marxist theory because they never even actually read the theory. That's the problem with a lot of those people that advocate communism, especially young Zoomers. They don't even know the theory. So anyway, let's get into the earlier reforms here. I don't want to start diverging all over the place here. Keep to the topic here. So the historical advantages. So of course, one is going to be ending slavery early. So one of the big compelling argument for remaining under British rule centers on the abolition of slavery. Remember, the British Empire abolished slavery through Slavery Abolition Act, which applied across its territories. Now, if the American colonies had stayed part of the empire, this reform would likely have extended to them, of course, potentially ending the institution decades earlier than the Civil War did in 1865. The delay in abolition not only prolonged human suffering, of course, but also sowed the seeds for the deadliest conflict in American history, claiming 600,000 lives, right? How did the British end the slavery too? They just paid them off. Yeah, so it was a non-violent solution. Conflicts. Without independence, the Civil War might have been avoided entirely. Yeah. As internal divisions over slavery could have been resolved through imperial decree rather than violent succession. Right. Yep. So it was a non-violent solution to it. Civil War was terrible. Furthermore, the absence of the Battle of Independence and also the War of 1812 would have spared thousands of additional casualties and economic disruptions, allowing for smoother development. Now, I'm gonna see if, when we go here, I'm gonna talk about. Well, yeah, I mean, you look at modern day American democracy, it's pretty much bankrupt. It went bankrupt faster than the hereditary monarchies did. How long did they last? What, 1,000 years or something? Yeah, but the American democracy is bankrupt already because they have very high time preferences. So when anybody can run for president or public office solution, it results in people that are, not exactly the best of character and also not exactly the best as far as they're sociopaths. Yeah. So, I'm just watching a little bit here. Okay. What was I talking about? Okay. So, beyond the slavery, of course, the treatment of the Indians also represents some big contrasts there. Now, remember the colonies, my ancestors, the settlers, before government was formed and after the Battle of Independence, and they formed what turned into this monstrosity, American democracy,
We were good at resolving conflicts between the natives. We didn't exploit them. That was the exploitation came later when the government solidified its monopoly on violence, or in attempting to solidify its monopoly on violence. And that's when all the bad stuff happened. And not to mention all the natives were getting into horrible genocide conflicts with each other, tribal warfare. So we were pretty good at resolving a lot of those conflicts and resolving any kind of like homesteading issues before the Battle of Independence. See, this is the one thing that the British colonists did. Of course, nothing's perfect. There's more negotiation with treaties and protections, like the original settlers were. We negotiated treaties and protections within the settlements. So, if like within the settlements that the Europeans settled in, my ancestors, if there was like a sacred fishing pond or something, they would negotiate some kind of protection of that pond or river, whatever it is, sacred fishing ground, or maybe a sacred burial place, and it wouldn't be destroyed. They would negotiate some kind of protection for it, and they would allow the natives to come in and, do their thing, celebrate their, death of the ancestors, whatever. So those are the kind of negotiations that we did. Canada also did some. It negotiated some with the native people under the framework of and influenced by British common law. So remaining under the empire might have integrated the North Americans into that system over time, fostering better relations with Indians. And it already was fostering better relations with Indians before independence, Battle of Independence. So there would be a lot of reconciliation in a commonwealth, like in a commonwealth you would find in a commonwealth. I'm not saying Canada is a great gold standard either. They're pretty awful what's going on there nowadays. You see what they're turning into, the tyranny. It's awful. You talk about compelled speech. But anyway, let's get it back. So with a broader historical lens here, the British viewed the Battle of Independence as a civil war among kin. Well, yeah. With many expressing foreboding about the fracture. Yeah, well, economic analysis, of course, suggests that the direct and indirect costs of gaining independence, military expenditures, trade disruptions, and loss of imperial protections outweigh the gains, such as tax autonomy. And think about what you had with our settlers was that when we were allowed to leave, King James, and you don't know about the original Pilgrims, my ancestor. We were attempting to practice our religion however we wanted to, but King James didn't like that. He also didn't like that we were critical of him either. And so we decided to leave. I think we went to Denmark, as it was, and but there was an allyship between Denmark and I forgot the other country, and so they were allowed to go in there and worship do their worshiping how they wanted to, without the influence of King James. But the allyship ended, and then we made our escape. But see, the Church of England was after us, and so we made our escape, and then we got caught, put in jail. We made an escape again, and then we got caught and escaped. We kept doing this back and forth, and finally King James just said, "Screw it, just get out of here. We'll let you go to the Newfoundland, settle however you like, but you still have to pay a little tax." You think about it, wasn't that much tax you had to pay. So the colonies and the settlers had advantage. It was over the empire because you were separated by a large, vast ocean, Atlantic Ocean, and you paid very little taxes. But now look what you turned into. You turned into a democracy. You turned into a government that is one of the biggest governments in the world. highly regulated market, and you're paying so much in taxes. I don't know what exactly would have been like, how many taxes you would have paid if you were still under British rule. Maybe less, I don't know. But it seemed like we had a good thing going, actually. And don't forget, the British were also sending us provisions like medicines and food and stuff to help us. So and this we talk about the economic analysis. Military expenditures, trade disruptions, and lost imperial protections. Yeah. Lost imperial protections, we were just talking about that, outweigh the gains as this taxonomy, which are marginal in the long run. Yeah. So critics like Thomas Paine argue for separation to avoid entanglement in European wars, but we got into a bunch of wars under democracy, Demos Kratos. We got into horrible wars, European wars. We got definitely entangled with those. And ironically, they were against and with other democracies. We had German, Hitler's Germanic democracy. He called it his democracy. Stalin's democracy. Oh, look at that guy floating around. That was pretty cool. Mussolini had his democracy. They all had their democracies. They call themselves democracies. Mao and everybody else. So yeah, so that's what you got into. You got into these horrible, deeply involved global conflicts, from world wars to modern interventions that you've lost. You've lost all, ever since World War II, you've lost all the wars without any kind of stabling influence. European or empire state. So let's see, how will the government structure and stability of parliamentary systems be? In the modern day democracy, which again, I don't advocate for democracy, characterized by a presidential republic with a rigid two-party system, which you should abolish the two-party system, often suffers from gridlock, polarization, executive overreach, and non-accountability too, because you created such a complicated bureaucracy. And under a complicated bureaucracy, they pass policies that result in, let's say, unintended consequences. They're not intentional causes. A lot of them are almost not incremental. What was the word I was thinking? It was not intentional. Shit, now I forgot the word. Oh, systemic causes. That's what it was. Systemic causes. A little tired. Looking forward to Halloween next week. It's on a Friday, so it should be fun. Yeah. So systemic causes of policies that these politicians pass under American democracy result in really bad things, unintended consequences and collateral damage. People die. Like for example, in Japan, they're having a problem with bear attacks because a long time ago, in the late 80s and early 90s, not that long ago, the bear population was kind of shrinking. So there's a handful of politicians in different places like Hokkaido and Honshu, places like that, decided to pass a policy to increase the population of bears. So what happened 30-some years later? The collateral damage. Now bears are overpopulated and they're going into invading the cities and attacking people, even killing them. And so do we hold these politicians accountable for the bad policy? I mean, even if it's non-intentional, it's systemic cause of death of a lot of people in Japan because of the bear attacks. These politicians are still guilty. If that was a king that did that, I think the king would have been beheaded. They say, hey, wait a minute, it's your private realm. You privately own the whole thing. You're responsible for it. I'm not a spectator. Who am I a spectator? I'll join again. Jeez. Anyway, back on track. So the gridlock is true. Under Commonwealth nations like the UK, Canada, Australia, not exactly the gold standard. It's ironic what they've turned into. They've turned into things far worse. With constitutional monarchies, which provide greater flexibility and accountability. Well, that's not true. Look at Trudeau. He should be held accountable for what he did COVID and what he did with the truck drivers.
freezing their bank accounts. Yeah. In these systems, the head of government, prime minister, is accountable to parliament, allowing for non-confidence votes to remove ineffective leadership swiftly. Supposed to. Herr Starmer? Herr Starmer? Is he gone? Unlike the protracted impeachment process of U.S. Well, it's the same thing. In Japan, though, they did get rid of that other prime minister they had, and they had that woman. And apparently, she's better. She'll do more restrictive immigration, reverse a lot of those horrible policies, some forced integration that the other prime minister did. So comparisons highlight how the parliamentary democracies foster multi-party coalitions. Yeah. Reducing the winner-takes-all extremism prevalent in the U.S., for instance. Canada and Australia have avoided the deep partisan divides. Well, I shouldn't have said that because, ironically, they're pretty deeply partisan. Yeah. So they under Canada and Australia, they partly it's the proportional representation elements. Mandatory voting. See, we don't have mandatory voting, thank God. Which encourage broader consensus. Well, it's forced consensus. The U.S. system separation of powers, while innovative, has led to frequent shutdowns and debt ceiling crises, issuing largely absent in parliamentary frameworks. Well, that, yeah, because the American democracy, it's bankrupt. It's totally bankrupt. Had America remained British, it might have adopted a dominion status similar to Canada in 1867, evolving into a stable parliamentary democracy without revolutionary. But the founding fathers, I don't think even wanted parliament. They wanted an aristocratic republic. That's what was the original intention. Without revolutionary baggage of written constitution that's become increasingly difficult to amend. See, the American Constitution, if you get a philosophy, if you're a relativist or subjectivist, you believe that the truth is unknowable, there is no such thing as good and bad, and so you think laws are malleable, so we change the Constitution. These called a living, breathing. These relativists called a living, breathing Constitution. It's not in an objective framework. An objective epistemologist framework is the laws of nature are non-immutable. Turn that down. Popped in my ears. Yeah. So yeah. Under the American Constitution, it's just malleable. They just change it. They amend it and they change it, and even the laws can be changed. So continue on. The symbolic role of a monarch provides continuity and neutrality, insulating the state from populist upheavals. Now that is an important part. Insulating the state from populist upheavals. Now the thing with democracy is they call it majority rule. And that's what the word means. Ruled by the majority, the collective majority. Let's see, go on here. So like, continue on in the Anglosphere, shared common law traditions already bind these nations, suggesting that a unified North American dominion could have enhanced this cohesion without the isolationism that sometimes plagues U.S. foreign policy. But we still got involved in those world wars. Yeah, more involved in the European wars. Let's see, social and economic policies. Let's see. So like contemporary comparisons might reveal a stark difference in social welfare, but I'm not a fan of welfare. It's interesting how these countries turned out, like Canada and Australia. and UK, how they turned out. They're like under Stammer, they're like tyrannies. You know, they're. I mean, there've been like in the UK. Just we know if you've been following, thousands of people have been arrested for tweets. Yeah, they've turned into authoritarian tyranny. So much for.
Well, that's the one thing I don't think these governments even do well at all. None of them is protecting liberties.
They don't protect liberty at all.
There might be some countries that do it better than America, but I don't know. Just the fact that the government exists by itself is just pure evil, and it doesn't protect human rights, nor does it protect liberties. Well, under an American democracy, liberty doesn't exist. It's incompatible with democracies.
See the negative aspect. If it was like a British North America, like a policy might have implemented fostering a culture of collective well-being,
No,
rather than private. That's a negative right there. That's a negative. Just to make you know that's a negative. I don't want to foster a culture of collectivity, collective well-being, or a social contract. I prefer privatization. Private ownership of the means of production and homesteading, private property, private ownership of yourself. You know, it's my money, my body, my mind, my choice.
Let's see. Of course, yeah. I mean, if you look at economic analysis again, if you remained in the colony, it could have aligned with America with Europeans' trade networks, potentially accelerating industrialization without the tariffs and isolation post-independence. That's a good point. Yeah, 'cause tariffs are bad. I don't agree with tariffs, and I don't agree with taxing the rich either. For the same reason. Now, if you look at like gun control, you see it's much worse in UK, Canada, and Australia. It's much worse. There is no, because there's no Second Amendment. And if it was a private government, like in Iceland they had, there was like almost zero crime rate. Let's see, what else do they do? Yeah, the negative part of the still under the empire would be like socially, the Commonwealth nations. They exhibit too much trust in the institutions, and they want to equity. They push policies of equity rather than natural law. Yeah, that's, you know, and also under imperial rule, it would have been still centralized administration. So we don't want a centralized government. Yeah, so that would be the negative aspect. It would be highly centralized, with a very high collectivity. And I have to see what's going on in Canada and Australia and the UK. My God. So that would be the downside. At least with America anyway, you have a plurality of states. All the states and their state and local laws. So yes, the flip side of American aristocratic republic would be emphasis on individualism. Yeah, that's the good side. Yeah. See, they push in those other Commonwealth nations. They push equality, equity. The idea of the collectivity, and they want to try to equalize everything. That doesn't work. I'm not in favor of equality either. Inequality is preferable. So, of course, there's always counter to the independence argument. Was tyrannical. Yeah, the taxation without representation. But hey, at least you had lower taxes back then. And of course, military positions like Quartering Act. Yeah. However, these grievances were partly addressed in later reforms for the other colonies, and the empire's evolution to Commonwealth shows adaptability. Yeah, I mean, so other counterpoint would be economic prosperity. Yes, the U.S. became a superpower, but also created the biggest government, highly regulated government. But this might occur regardless, bolstered by imperial resources, as seen in Australia's growth. Let's see. Now, as far as like cultural identity flourishing post-independence, yeah, I mean, Commonwealths, do they maintain high, vibrant identities while benefiting a shared heritage? But you see the problems they're having in the UK with that. Flying the flag, the Union Jack. Yeah, they're having a problem with that idea of shared heritage, British heritage. Yeah. Okay, so, let's finish here, and then we'll get into part 2, the next topic. I'll say so. Okay, so of course, in hindsight and retrospect, of course, remaining under the British Empire could have spared North America the traumas of an independence war and a civil war, and yeah, I think the big one would be slavery. I think that would be the biggest one. I think if we stayed in the colony, we would have abolished slavery a lot sooner, and would have been peaceful. And as to avoiding the European wars, even if we stayed under the British colony, but we probably still would have gotten involved with European wars anyway. So yeah, there's that. So the thing about America, the plus sides, it does push the idea of the rugged individualism. But under the Commonwealth, we had better relations with the locals, the Indians, or the Asians, whatever we call them. Because there are different waves of immigrants that came from Asia and Siberia. There's like 3 waves. The first wave was pretty non-existent after the second wave came, and then by the third wave came. Yeah, they were all engaged in tribal warfare, so I think having the colonies there probably would have was settling things a little better and settling relations and negotiations. So I'm all understand. Okay, so the current state of America and the current state of these first world countries is pretty ironic what they turned into. Exactly what the founding fathers predicted it would happen. A democratic tyranny. All these places it turned into that. So I don't know, at the end, right now, this moment, it didn't look, either way it paid off. It paid off either way, and if you stayed or even if you did independence, I mean, America is the idea of liberty in America is not compatible with any democracy. And we're just talking about these commonwealths, they prioritize the collective over the individual and private property. So, okay. Forgot how to change classes. Is it that button? What's the button? L? Not L. I want to, nope, that's not it. Where's the, is it semicolon? I want to change classes. How do I do that? Oh, that's my speaker. Speaker, that's my marker. Oh, I pressed N, I can zoom in and out of the map. I didn't know I could do that. Okay, we'll get into the next part. I'm going to get into the Constitution, the roles, like the preamble and the Declaration of Independence. I want to focus on some philosophical arguments or philosophical ideas that you find in the preamble and what the difference is with the Constitution, the American Constitution. So we'll get in that in a minute.
It's hasn't been an hour yet, even though it says an hour on the screen left. Okay, I'm gonna play now for a little bit and kind of cool down. If you have any questions or comments about what I was saying, let me know. Glad to hear if you'd like to add anything else, or what do you prefer? What kind of, I mean, there's lots of pluses and minuses, you know, to with the idea of still living under the monarchy, or hereditary monarchy. I can't aim. Do I have any more? Oh, I got some more coffee left. All right. And the other plus, I talked about this before, is the fact you have more highly qualified people, politicians who are actually qualified to handle the complex world, rather than just having anybody run for office. What the fuck? The problem with anybody running for public office is that you get, you know, like I said before, you get a bunch of liars, cheaters, and they're good at bribing, and they're a bunch of sociopaths. But they all have good intentions, though. Remember, I talked about the different causes and effects, the two different kinds of causes: systemic causes, which is what usually happens with a policy that's put in a mandate of some kind, put in place by some public servants, or intentional. Now, the intentional, the idea of an intentional cause of death would be like, for example, I have two examples here for intentional and systemic. The one example of intentional would be under Stalin. It would be the deliberate starvation and genocide of the Ukraine nationals. Under his policy of collectivizing the grain, he deliberately starved the Ukrainians and killed like 6 million or something. It was like 10 million, I think. 32 and 33. And that was completely intentional because they would never, Stalin would never let, the government policy would not allow the Ukrainians to leave the country or any territory. But other people can go in and out of the territory if they like. So that was intentional. Okay? And there was no good intentions behind that. And then there's a systemic one, under Stalin again, Lysenkoism, which would be, he had good intentions about adopting a theory that was an alternative to Darwin's theory of evolution, because he thought Darwin's theory of evolution was like it was interpreted by Herbert Spencer. Herbert Spencer interpreted capitalism as a survival of the fittest. So, based on that fallacy, the communists thought that that the theory of evolution was too much like capitalism, the survival of the fittest, which is completely wrong. I've talked about this before. Capitalism is a creative process, about creativity, not competition. The idea of creating wealth. So it was his good intentions, he thought, to adopt the alternative Lysenkoism to create bigger yields, thus solving the problem of famine. But what happened was collateral damage, what was completely unintentional. Tens of millions of people were just they famine. They died famine. Tens of millions of people died. That was unintended. So that was the example of systemic causation. You had good intentions. Your intention wasn't
try to kill off people. You were trying to help them, and it was something a little more, you might say, the policy, how it was implemented was a little more nuanced. So that's what systemic causation is. It's more nuanced and it's not so obvious because it takes a long time for the bad effects to show themselves. It takes a much longer time period for the collateral damage to show itself. Because at first, when they pass a mandate or policy, politician, you see the immediate effects of it. But 30 years down the line, you'll start to see the bad effects. But people have short-term memory; they don't remember that. Oh, it was those guys that passed that policy a long time ago, like increasing the bear population, that is now causing deaths. People are getting injured and killed because of the bear. People don't remember who passed those policies. They don't remember that they voted for those policies. People have short-term memory. And that's the negative side of living in a democracy, because people are just willfully ignorant and ill-informed. And it's impossible to be informed about any of these complex things. So it's just easier for them to accept that, oh, this politician, he was intentionally trying to kill off people with this policy. It's too easy to say that. They usually pass policies and mandates because they have good intentions. But their good intentions lead to hell. But people don't people don't see it that way. But the people that pass the laws, the mandates to help the bear population, these people are guilty of a crime. It's involuntary manslaughter or something, or something like that. I know there's an unintentional manslaughter. They found guilty. You're guilty. Take the politicians who passed that policy, take them to trial and find them guilty. And they're going to be easy to find them guilty because their name is on the law. That's easy. They can be easily, politicians can be more easily held accountable than a CEO of a corporation, because their name is written on the policy. And you signed the paper there, buddy. So yeah, so you're at fault, even though it's unintentional or involuntary manslaughter. Okay. I thought I looked at a little bit about that before I get to the next topic. Okay. Got it. Give me a few minutes so we go into the next topic here. Just want to play a little bit. Let the computer play for a little bit. All right. What are you doing? Oh, we didn't win the last match. Oh, that's a nice triple kill. I got the flag. Okay. Darn it. Oh, sponge again.
Point secure.
All right. Okay. What's this guy doing? Go around this way. Go around the back. Beach map. Wow. Okay, did he get him? Wow, what? Oh, okay, he was behind a flower pot. Wunderbar. Okay. Just give me till 9:30, and then we'll start the next topic. What is it? Oh, the wrong guy. Well, I got that. back. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Da-da. Yeah, you can tell Half-Life 2 is a really good game. A little detail. I don't know if you guys ever done any editing on the Source engine with the Hammer software. Yeah, you can put a lot of details in it. Huh? Wow. Oh, he's got a bloody nose on that guy. All right. So what we'll do, let's okay, as soon as it gets 9:30, we'll switch to Return to Castle Wolfenstein, and then we'll go ahead and read. Let's get started on that one. The roles of the preambles and the Declaration of Independence, and how that, reflects it in the Constitution. Not 9:30 yet. Oh, no, it is. Okay, so I'm gonna switch.
I don't think you should leave
Over.
the British Empire, George.
Cancel. We're
I
gonna
don't
get out of
think
here.
you should leave the British Empire,
That's right, George. Listen to him. He might be right.
I don't
There's
think you
pluses
should
and there's
leave the
minuses.
British
And
Empire,
minuses.
George.
There was a mouse at work today.
I don't
Okay,
think you
so
should
let's
leave the
play
British Empire, George.
Wolf E.T.
I don't think you should leave the British Empire.
Weird, my
George.
desktop sounds are disabled. Huh.
I don't think
Okay,
you
loading
should leave the
mods,
British
legacy
Empire,
mod.
George.
We'll just stay in spectators until I read this,
I
and then
don't think you should leave the
I'll
British Empire,
join the match.
George.
legacy. Let me switch over to the
I
game now.
don't think
Tired
you
of
should
hearing
leave the
King George III complain to George Washington. All right, here we go. Let me get into them. Let's see. We've got Fearless Assassins. Warbell. Honorable Stain Spectators. It's a pretty good map, but all right. Let's see. How many? Oops. Okay. It's the same as always. Okay, we'll leave it at the Allies side. Okay, here we go. So we're talking about the roles of the preambles in the Declaration of Independence. Okay, so introduction. So, of course, the founding documents of the United States, the Declaration of Independence, and the Constitution stand as cornerstones of American political philosophy. So there's a lot of philosophy in the preamble. We'll get into that. And governance. Adopted in 1776, or some people argue it was a coup, because remember the original Constitution was the Articles of Confederation. And the founding fathers decided to, go behind closed doors and write the other Constitution. Some people consider that a coup against the Articles of Confederation. Going on, these texts not only shaped the birth of the nation, but also articulated enduring ideals of liberty, equality, and self-government. Now, it is, like I said, in a democracy, liberty is not compatible. So, yeah, we're not good with the liberty part. Self-government, well, it's supposed to be a self-government. Okay, so at the heart of each of these documents lies the preamble, concise yet profound introductory statement that sets the tone, purpose, and rationale for what follows. Right, the philosophy. The preamble to the Declaration of Independence serves as a philosophical manifesto justifying a revolution and separation from British rule. Now, this revolution isn't the same, it's independence, as the French Revolution. The French Revolution was a grotesque parody of the American battle for independence. And grotesque meaning literally it was grotesque. Especially the second phase of the French Revolution was horrific. They were so it was the ethnic cleansing, and they were so just, my goodness, they were just out in the open about the cleansing, just murdering, beheading, and just dancing around the bodies of the corpses. I mean, it was just awful. It was horrible. Separation from British rule. While the preamble to the Constitution outlines the practical objectives of establishing a new federal government, understanding the roles of these preambles reveals their distinct yet complementary functions in American history. One as a call to arms against tyranny, the tyranny of the majority, collective majority. The other as a blueprint for ordered liberty. Well, how did that turn out? The essay explores these roles, okay? And I'll explore those roles in depth, drawing on historical context, legal interpretations, and scholarly allowance, not analysis. I meant to say analysis, not allowance, to illuminate their significance. Okay, so first we'll talk about the preamble to the Declaration of Independence. So this is a philosophical justification for independence. So remember, this preamble is directed at King George III. This is to you, King George. So the Declaration of Independence, drafted by Thomas Jefferson and adopted by the Continental Congress of July 4th, 1776, begins with the preamble that encapsulated the Enlightenment ideals fueling the American battle for independence. Remember, it wasn't a revolution, kids. It was a battle for independence. Don't confuse that with the French Revolution. The French Revolution was an abomination. It just made things worse. And it eventually did sort of lead to the horrible stuff in the 20th century. Because remember, every communist and socialist studied the other part of the French Revolution. So the French Revolution, or the idea of revolution, should not be emulated in any shape, way, or form. It's horrible. It's a horrible idea. And you never really get what you want out of the revolution anyway. Nothing. What happened to the French? Well, the monarchy came back. Not once, but three times. There you go. Okay. So in Congress, July 4th, 1776, the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America, when the course of human events becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another. They're talking about King George III, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which they wanted to be equal. They're talking about equal to the British Empire. That's what they're talking about. They want to be equal to them. They're just as equal to what's going on in European countries, or England. To which laws of nature and the nature's God entitled them a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare causes which impel them to the separation. Right. Okay, I'm not going to read the whole thing. Okay. We know what it is. You want to read it, go read the whole thing yourself. I just read the first paragraph. Remember, the separation and the idea would be separated from the British Empire, but we're just as equal as the British Empire. Don't forget that. That's an important point. Okay. King of Britain. So yeah, I'm just going to read at the bottom of it there. So the systems of government. So the history of the present King of Great Britain, which was King George III, is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having to direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over the states. Well, look what you got. You get the tyranny of the majority in a democracy, what your country turned into. Yeah.
That's all they was talking about. Hey, we got the votes, man. We got the numbers. Yeah, we got the mob. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. Okay. So again, the preamble plays a multifaceted role here, primarily as a moral and philosophical justification for the colony's break from Great Britain. It begins here by invoking a natural law and divine entitlement. asserting that nations have a right to sovereignty when circumstances demand it. Have the right. See, talking about the nations have a right to sovereignty. what were the French thinking about? What kind of sovereignty? The sovereignty of the collective will. And what the heck did that lead to? Yeah. So by appealing to the opinions of mankind, the preamble positions the declaration not merely as domestic pronouncement, but as a universal statement intended to garner international support and legitimacy for the independent cause. Remember, we're just as equal as Britain. That's what I mean, equality, what he talked about earlier. Historically, the preamble plays heavily from the Enlightenment, draws heavily from the Enlightenment, like John Locke, of course, natural law theory, whose ideas on social contract theory underpin the assertion that governments derive power from the consent of the governed, exist to protect unalienable rights. When the government fails in this duty, the people have not only the right, but the duty to overthrow it. A radical endorsement of independence, you might say, some of the revolution of independence, tempered by prudence against frivolous change. Jefferson's famous line, "All men are created equal," was not initially interpreted as a call for universal equality, but rather as a rejection of hereditary monarchy in favor of republicanism. Yeah, aristocratic republic. The founding fathers, remember, they're not keen on democracy. And if you look in the Constitution, even the preamble here does not mention democracy. Though its meaning has evolved over time to inspire movements of civil rights. Yeah, its meaning. Or have us say misinterpretation, civil rights. I already did a show, about abolishing the civil rights. Because those are just entitlements, in a way. They call civil rights or entitlements to somebody else's wealth. And abolition. Okay, we already talked about the abolition of slavery. We could have done that earlier. The preamble transitions seamlessly into a list of grievances against King George. Right. That's what it's about. Is that, hey, King George, we got some grievances we'd like to, share with you. Framing the entire document as a logical progression from principle to evidence to action. And you could see here, I don't know if I mentioned it, I forget, how the French misinterpret this, got it completely wrong. Not only that, they use Rousseau's theory of social contract in a distorted, just grotesque way. Let's see. In terms of broader historical significance, the preamble laid the philosophical groundwork for American democracy, but we didn't want a democracy. Emphasizing liberty and equality as the fundamental principles. They say equality in the law, but you don't have equality under the law. We're saying, like UK, it's a two-tier system. It served as the inspirational beacon during the Revolutionary War and beyond. Yeah. And what was the result of the Revolutionary War? The government got way too big, and it abolished the idea of freedom of association. There's one liberty that's gone. Every time you win a battle or a war, you got victory militarily, but ideologically you lose. You always lose. You lose more liberty, too. After every war, you always lose a little bit of liberty. Influencing global declarations of independence and human rights documents. Yeah. Grotesque parody of it in other countries. Unlike a legal code, it is declarative and designed to rally support and articulate a vision of self-determination around the prescribed governance structures. But what did you get? Prescribed government structures. And who talk about the institutes. We can say that for another show. That'll be go another hour. Annotations from historical analysis highlight how it provides context from grievances and explains key phrases like self-evident truths, as axioms needing no proof, rooted in rationalist philosophy. Okay. So now we have the preamble to the United States Constitution. Now, a framework for governance. Now, remember, in the Articles of Confederation, that was already a framework for governance. We already had the how-to. But the founders overthrew that, committed their coup, and established this new Constitution. And you go further, the civil rights laws are like a separate constitution too. It's a constitution that runs in parallel to this constitution. and it's conflicting, completely conflicting.
to what's in the Constitution. So, in contrast to the independence fervor of the Declaration, remember independence from King George, we're just as equal as you are. The preamble of the United States Constitution, drafted during the Constitutional Convention, it was a coup of 1787 and ratified in 1788, offers a pragmatic vision for national unity and effective government. Okay, you already had that Articles of Confederation. Its text is succinct and purposeful. Okay, we the people, I'm not going to read it all. Okay, so the preamble here fulfills the distinct role as the introductory statement that identifies the source of authority. Okay, we the people. Which people were they talking about when they wrote that first word, those words there, the first three words? They're talking about the people in that room, because they're the only ones that signed that document. No one else signed it. So when they talk about we the people, these people were landowners. They were aristocrats. They were Whigs or English Tories. Those are the people they were talking about. And so it enumerates these other 6 core objectives of the Constitution: forming a more perfect union, establishing justice, ensuring democratic tranquility. Oh, domestic. I'm sorry. Oh, forgot the word democracy is not in the Constitution. Domestic tranquility. It's supposed to be, a republic of independent states, providing the common defense, promoting the general welfare and security, liberty for current and future generations. Well, it's not securing liberty because they're turned into a democracy. It acts as a job description for federal government. Well, they just change it. They just change the rules and laws anytime they feel like anyway, because they're a bunch of relativists. They believe these laws are malleable. Outlining its responsibilities without delving into specifics, which are reserved for the subsequent articles and amendments. Okay, so historically here, the preamble emerged from the failures of the Articles of Confederation, which had created a weak central government. That's the point. We want a weak central government. We don't want a strong central government. That's not a failure. Unable to address interstate conflicts, economic instability, and external threats. By invoking a more perfect union, collective will, you might say, it signals an improvement over the loose confederation. We want a loose confederation because we want these people to be like a Liechtenstein almost, or covenant communities. Emphasizing collective action for national strength. I don't want a collective. You can see how this shit just went sour right away. All this shit about collective action and perfect union. Jesus Christ, man. We the people. They aren't talking about all of you. God, no wonder Hitler was like, hey, American democracy? I'll create my own democracy. I'll call it Germanic democracy. I already did a whole show about that shit, too. Hitler's democracy. He's using the same thing right here. That's here. We the people, the Volksgemeinschaft, and I embody the Volksgemeinschaft. What are senators and congressmen supposed to be? They're representatives, and they represent the will of their people, the collective people. Yeah, no wonder the founding fathers. No wonder my ancestor was opposing this. Alexander Hamilton was I think I'm like 6th cousin removed from him. The phrase "we the people" underscores popular sovereignty, but that's not what it means. We're not talking about popular. We just talked about this populism. I don't care about the popular sovereignty. I don't care about the majority. And so a direct evolution from the Declaration's emphasis on consent of the governed. You have consent to steal my money and exploit my resources to do whatever, pose some kind of violence like mafia on people, but applied to the creation of an enduring republic rather than a momentary revolt. Yes, enduring republic, aristocratic republic. Legally, the preamble holds limited enforcement power. It is not a source of substantive rights or obligations, but rather an interpretive aid. See? It's a living, breathing document. See, it changes. That's why it went sour. That's why your country's bankrupt, too. I think you misinterpreted the preamble here. The Supreme Court has occasionally referenced it to understand the Constitution's overall intent in cases involve federalism, but it just says here it's interpretive. So, what kind of interpretations are we talking about here? Maybe there's like two different kinds of interpretations. Usually, the Supreme Court's is going to go along with whoever gang is in office. If it's the red gang in office, they usually side with the red gang. The blue gang, they go with the blue gang. So they're just interpretive. And they usually, if they're any good, they'll use natural law theory as a way to interpret laws, or they use subjective
Equality.
idea to interpret it. So it's this idea of interpretive aid. You can see how this went sour. And remember, this is supposed to be a protective, right? Protect against the government. This document is supposed to be protecting the government. But did the government even protect human rights? Like, for example, the First Amendment after the independence, after the Bill of Rights was passed? No. They didn't protect First Amendment rights until like the 1920s. John Adams, he wanted to arrest anyone who made fun of a politician. So this is what the Supreme Court does. Okay. It interprets it. Overall intent. Okay. Casing involving federalism or individual liberties, though it rarely forms the basis of rulings. For instance, Jacobson, okay, whatever his name is, Jacoby, we'll call him that, versus Massachusetts, 9205. The court cited the preamble's promotion of general welfare, the Volksgemeinschaft, the common good. I can interpret that however I want that word there. The promotion of the general welfare. Now, if you're talking about the individual state's welfare, okay, but general welfare, that could mean anything. That could just mean Hitler or Mao or Assad or Pol Pot. The general welfare. To uphold vaccination mandates. See, they go along whatever. Hey, whatever they're doing in whatever gangs in office, we'll interpret it in their favor. However, its primary significance lies outside the courtroom, embodying the aspiration, values of the nation, serving as a touchstone for civic education and political discourse. Okay. So 18th century interpretation is viewed as a key tool for constitutional understanding, as a role that has waned in informal jurisprudence but persists in public rhetoric. Okay.
Prepare to fight.
Oh, look, radar. We're on the radar map. The preamble, it emphasized posterity highlights its forward-looking nature. Progressivism. Ooh. Committing the government to intergenerational equity. Communism and the preservation of liberty. Well, it didn't do that. They abolished this idea of aristocratic republic in favor of democracy. Yeah. It distills the framers' values: unity, justice, peace, defense, welfare, and liberty. Hey, and it sounds like Hitler's shit to me. Unity, justice, peace, defense, welfare, and liberty. Jeez. No wonder North Korea uses this as their definition of democracy. It's right there. I mean, we got unity. That's a value. We got justice. Yeah, definitely justice. Justice against the evil American capitalist fascists, Peace. Oh, they got peace, all right. No one bothers them. Defense. They definitely know how to defend their borders. Landmines and electric fences. Welfare. Oh, they got that. Plenty of welfare in that country. They're all poor, but liberty. Well, it depends how you defend. Are you liberated from what? You're liberated from American tyranny in their mind. So yeah, they've got this is all the trappings of a democracy in North Korea. Exactly. In a cohesive, you can see how this, you can see how just this went sour so easily. Into a cohesive mission statement, providing a lens through which the Constitution provisions can be evaluated. Okay, so let's see, what do we got here? Conclusion. Oh, we're almost done. Dynamite Planet. Let's see. So let's finish up here. We're almost done. Then we can finish up the stream with playing. Comparison and contrast. Independent ideals versus practical governance. Okay, while both preambles serve introductory functions, their roles diverge scope and intent. We just talked about it earlier. The Declaration preamble is inherently revolutionary, or battle for independence, providing a philosophical rationale for dissolving ties with Britain independence and asserting universal truths about human rights and government legitimacy. That's what I liked about the Articles of Confederation. It weakened the government, central government. That's what you wanted. It is a declarative and justificatory aimed at explaining why independence is necessary and transitions into catalog of grievances to substantiate its claims. In essence, it is the manifesto of, it's the manifesto of independence. It's rebellion. It's against the King, George III. Influenced by natural law and intended to inspire action. This can be interpreted as acts of violence. In essence, it's a manifesto of rebellion, influenced by natural law and intended to inspire action. Yeah, okay. Hey, Lenin Bolshevism, Stalinism, Hitler's German Revolution. Yeah, that inspired. There was a rebellion in Hitler's German democracy, rebellion against the international clique. So conversely, though, the Constitution's preamble is constructive and institutional, focusing on how to build a stable government. But you already had that with the Articles of Confederation. But this is supposed to build a stable government after the Battle of Independence, after independence. But did it create a stable government? Or yeah, but it also created a huge government, a central government. So it didn't have the effect it intended to. It had the opposite effect. It establishes the people's authority. The people meaning the people in the room, like I said, not everybody. Authority to create a framework for ongoing governance, enlisting achievable goals rather than abstract principles. Where the Declaration emphasizes the right to abolish destructive governments. The Constitution prioritizes preventing such destruction through balanced powers and federal unity. Well, it's not balanced powers because who has most of the power in the three branches of government now? What happened? There's one of them that has more power. The legislative branch, I forgot, was it federal? One of them has more power. Yet here, I say the two are interconnected. The Declaration ideas of equality, it depends what you're talking about there, equality of what they mean. Like I said, the equality of what they meant was they're equal to the British Empire, and liberty informed the Constitution's objectives, creating a continuum from revolution to republic or independence. Change that to independence, not revolution, because we don't want to inspire violence. Both invoke popular sovereignty. That's what. It's funny though. Like I said, the Constitution doesn't mention democracy at all in here, but the Declaration does so to legitimize separation, while the Constitution uses it to ordain a union. Their enduring impact lies in shaping American identity. The Declaration is a symbol of freedom's birth. The Constitution as a safeguard. Well, it's supposed to be a safeguard, but it doesn't do a good job. You create a government that has a monopoly on violence, so it doesn't protect human rights. Okay, so the conclusion. Let's finish up. Did he spare 3? Okay. The preambles of the Declaration of Independence, the United States Constitution, encapsulate the dual essence of American founding. Idealistic rebellion and pragmatic institutional building. We can talk about pragmatism at another time. The former justifies the moral imperative of independence through natural rights, okay, and the duty to resist tyranny. Yeah, you're supposed to resist the tyranny of the majority. It's like laying the ideological foundation for a new nation. The latter delineates the government's mission to foster unity, justice, and liberty, serving as a personal guide for interpretation and civic life. Okay. Together, they underscore the transformative power of words and foregoing a nation of independence.
aristocratic republic, reminding us that governance is both philosophical pursuit. Yes, that is true. It's philosophical. I've talked about that before, and practical endeavor. Philosophical pursuit is the main one. In an era of evolving interpretations, these primals remain vital touchstones, embodying the aspirations that continue to define the United States. Okay. I probably should just get rid of some of these lines now that I read it again. There's some stuff in here that probably shouldn't be in there. But anyway, yeah. So that's the philosophical foundation of the preambles, the preamble to both the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. Well, I cannot talk. It's 10 o'clock here. So, yeah. I think I finished that. Yeah, all done. There we go. Just checking. Let's see. I'm kind of going to go fight now. Let's see. Scrolling up, scrolling up. Oh, yeah. First blood. Yeah. Yeah, because, okay. Yeah, I'm just reading some of the stuff I had from last week about how democracy is and how it's coercive and efficient. It's coercive to liberty. We talked about that last time. So, okay. So, let's go choose a side here. Well, I get to be a medic. All right, let's finish off the day. What do we got here? Okay. So, hope you enjoyed that. Those two topics. Glad I got that off my chest.
They have constructed a command post.
Ah, command post. Okay. And yeah, if you got any comments about that, yeah, feel free to leave them there. I'll respond. And if you have any other topics you'd like me to talk about, but I usually I pick topics that I'm reading about now. Like I'm reading Thomas Sowell's book, Basic Economics. That's a pretty good book.
I don't think you
Oh,
should
I don't know what the hell
British
happened there.
Empire,
My game
George.
just crashed. That just switched very
I don't
quickly.
think you should leave the British Empire,
All right.
George.
So let's get back in the game
I don't
here.
think
What
you
the
should
heck
leave
happened?
The British Empire, George.
There it goes.
I don't
Yeah,
think
it
you
does
should
that
leave the
sometimes.
British Empire, George.
Sometimes.
I don't think you should leave the
Legacy.
British Empire, George.
I'll switch back in. We want to hear these two people
I don't
argue.
think you should leave the British Empire, George.
All right.
I don't
Oh boy,
think
how's you
should
guys'
leave the
weekend? It's the
British
weekend
Empire,
coming up,
George.
Saturday, Sunday here, and
I don't think you
I'm
should
probably gonna
leave
do
the
another
British
stream
Empire,
tomorrow.
George.
did
I
I?
don't think you should leave the British
Oh, there
Empire,
it goes, okay.
George.
It's look out of order to me.
I don't think
Oh, let
you
me
should
switch the
leave
game.
the British Empire, George.
Hopefully, we get kicked. Oh, the server crashed. Nope. Temple. Fun, fun, fun. Okay, let me try again. Oh, the bots are having fun with the wall. They shouldn't be. Oh, no. We got too many bots now. Well, this guy get more headshots. Yep.
The tank is past the first barrier.
Reading another book on the weekends. It's by Eric von. I can't remember his last name. Ridden or Lichten. It's called Leftism, from Desaad to Hitler to Pol Pot. And it's a really heavy duty book. Heavy duty means philosophy, and it's good history. Good sort of following European liberalism. Finished the whole chapter on the French Revolution. And yeah, it's a really good historical perspective, all this. And
We have damaged the tank.
I highly recommend that book. But it's very expensive. If you can find it, I know Amazon's very expensive, but A-Books or maybe I can't remember the other online book place. There's a few of them, but if you can find that book, highly recommend it. It's called Leftism. From there's two different versions. The first version was Leftism from Desaad to Marcuse to Hitler. I think that's what it was. The update removes Marcuse in the title. This is from Desaad, Marx, Hitler, and Pol Pot. I think that's what it was. I was fortunate. I got it as a birthday gift, and it was only $80. Normally things like about $200, they're like $300. I've seen it $500. But it's heavy duty stuff. It's not for the faint of heart. I know it sounds like cliche, but it's really heavy duty. He's got another book out called Equality or Liberty, which I also recommend.
Tank barrier destroyed.
But it's really heavy philosophy stuff. If you want to read general, a little more easy accessible book is Democracy, the God That Failed by Hans Hermann Hoppe. I recommend that one. Or Getting Libertarianism Right. Another Hans Hermann Hoppe book. Yeah, I read a lot of books. I try to keep up, you know.
Construct the command post.
I can get into the French Revolution too, and how that was a complete bastardization of Immanuel Kant, Rousseau, and the American battle for independence. That French Revolution got everything wrong. The Bill of Rights of Man, which is not the same as the Bill of Rights.
Protect the gold.
And that whole second phase of the French Revolution was a freaking nightmare.
Have damaged the tank.
I think that was was that one of the first ethnic cleansings?
They have constructed a command post.
They kill anyone that wasn't really French or atheist or something. I don't know. Boy, it was awful. A lot of that stuff made the Cheka or NKVD and the Linden Bolsheviks look like choir boys. The stuff that they did.
Killing spree.
Yeah, and I remember when they celebrated the Bastille in 1989. Yeah, they never did mention the massacres. They never mentioned that part in the celebration.
Dynamite plant.
Yeah, study that. That'll give you nightmares. I don't know which is worse. I mean, I read the Black Book of Communism, and that was pretty messed up. Oh God, that was awful. These communist countries, what they did. I don't know which is worse, or what they did in the French Revolution, or any of those communist countries. Oh God, hiding behind there. Stuff of nightmares. Stuff of nightmares.
Wooden barrier. Protect the gold. Wooden barrier destroyed.
Do-do-do-do-do.
Great shot. Defend our objective.
Someone's up late at night tonight. It's 10 o'clock here in Japan.
Killing spree.
Oh no, I don't want to be in here.
Barrier constructed.
Ah, shit. I got locked in the coffin. Oh, you need some medicine, sir?
Killing spree.
Wooden barrier destroyed. Construct Wooden barrier. Protect the gold.
Need a medic.
We don't care about that goal.
Killing spree.
Huh. Who's out there tonight? Who's there watching? I know there's some people watching. Tomorrow's going to be my Fix It Up stream. I got to fix a couple of my
Protect the gold.
Goompla high grade Gundam model kit. Yeah, the last week's model didn't turn out right. It just somehow the pieces just didn't really snap together right or something. It just sort of, yeah. So I'm gonna try to rebuild that other one, and then maybe add something. Yeah, just do something. The other one, maybe add that armor to it, and then next week will be a whole new model kit. Yeah, it's fun building those models. I just can't wait to build like a master grade,
Objective taken.
higher grade model kit. I want to see how difficult that's going to be.
Objective taken.
I'm building the Gundam Z series models, and man, there's so many different characters to Gundam Z. I didn't know that. Did not know that. There are so many. Oh, Mr. Yellow has the gold. Oh, I got GoldenEye. You. Where's GoldenEye going? Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. It says I've been live for an hour and 37 minutes. Oh, Allies won. Okay, what's the next? What's the next map? Oh, Italy. Okay, that Italy map is conversion from the Counter-Strike. Someone was watching for an hour and 20 minutes. Oh boy. Whew. Sure got warm today, though.
Prepare to fight.
Okay, let that go for a little bit.
First blood.
Da, 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 da.
9. 9. 9. Fight.
All right.
First blood.
Let's stop her. Yeah, command post. I was just saying that. Oh, hey. Hey there, Mr. Yellow. Yeah. Oh. Ah, Bad Bunny.
Great shot. Whoops.
Construct the command post.
Nice.
No. Longer. All right.
As soon as I'm done with this, I'll set up tomorrow morning stream. Hey, that's my idea. You stole my idea, standing on top of that lamp.
Killing spree.
Move.
They have constructed a command post.
All right. Let's go get the command post. Oh, there's a ladder there.
Killing spree.
You get a double kill on that one? That was too late. Do.
Dynamite planted.
The dynamite. Killing spree. Killing
Dynamite
spree.
Dynamite planted.
Yours.
You can jump right over here
Dynamite
without getting
planted.
damaged too much. Okay.
Killing spree.
Construction completed.
Oh, okay. So we constructed the ramp. Whoa.
No.
Ah, okay. Okay, we
Killing spree. Great shot. Killing spree.
ah
Great shot.
Damn.
oops. Sorry about that.
Hello. 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 Killing spree. Killing spree.
Dynamite planted.
Wow.
Goodbye. Auf Wiedersehen.
It's starting to pick up a little bit.
Disarm the dynamite. Bye. Auf Wiedersehen. Auf Wiedersehen.
Landmine spotted. Check your command map.
Killing spree.
Dynamite planted.
Da-da-da-da.
Disarm the dynamite. Sorry. Danke. You guys, man.
Okay. What am I doing? Is stuck?
Dynamite planted.
Wow. Okay, there, King George.
We need an engineer.
Need a ninja deer. Whoa.
Great shot.
I found his power up.
Great shot. Killing spree.
Bartok.
Need a medic.
Are they spawning back here now? Oh, yes, they are.
Killing spree.
Okay, we just got about 10 minutes left.
Killing spree.
Not the match here, but just stream.
Killing spree.
I gotta watch out for these landmines.
Great shot. Our objective. Great shot. Great shot.
Oh, there's the Jeep. Okay. They got past the ramps.
Great shot. Incoming.
Killing spree.
No, no, I didn't get a thank you out of that guy.
Command post constructed.
You're welcome. Ooh. Wow.
Killing spree.
What?
Nine. Great shot. Danke,
Dynamite planted. Dynamite planted.
Great shot.
Killing spree.
Go undercover.
Oh no. Well, I can't disarm the dynamite.
Dynamite diffused.
Killing rampage.
Great shot.
Damage our command post.
You.
Double kill.
They have constructed a command post.
Yeah, whoever gets the command post here at the end usually
Killing
wins.
spree. Killing spree.
Command post is important in this map.
Double kill.
Yeah.
Dominating.
Ooh boy. Yeah, somebody got hot in here. Okay, yeah, no one cares about this flag here. The command post people want. Ah, he was a covert ops, I knew it. Are they stuck? Let me see. Where's the oh, there's the Jeep is moving finally. Man,
Hello.
they sure are slow.
Danke,
Damn, it's the Jeep.
Whoops. Whoa.
Killing spree.
Dynamite planted.
Incoming! 9. Affirmative.
Dynamite defused.
Sorry.
What?
Incoming! Thanks. Nine. Negative. Whoops.
Any landmines? Go, Walter.
Firing for effect.
Go undercover.
Oh,
9.
Killing spree.
Disable the vehicle.
Protect the gold.
Well, I hope next week Halloween is gonna be cold.
Defend our objective. Great shot. Infantry. Thank you.
Okay, they broke in.
Excellent.
Dynamite planted.
Need a medic. Oh yes. Yeah. Great shot.
We need to be up top here to defend the gold crates, but
Go undercover.
Jesus.
9. Medic. Great shot.
Hey, the server has gotten full.
Medic.
Rampage.
Yeah, they're coming in hot now. They really want to get after that gold.
Objective taken. They have taken the first gold crate.
Wunderbar. Incoming. Defend our objective. Danke.
Killing spree.
They have secured the first gold crate.
Incoming.
Even if they get this second gold crate, it's still going to take them a while to get to the final destination.
Incoming. Need a medic.
Oh, you're a medic.
Killing spree.
Danke. Great shot. I'm a medic. 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 Great shot. Great shot. I need ammo. Danke, sir. Incoming.
Killing spree.
Great shot. Sorry. Great shot. Incoming.
Yep.
Medic. Need a medic.
Okay. Well,
Medic.
I think that's it. I'm getting motion sickness.
seriously, I'm getting all sweaty, getting a headache. That's about it.
Find the hole.
On my way.
So, yeah, we'll see you tomorrow for the build stream. Take it easy, man.
I don't think you should leave the British Empire, George.